Vrajagacharya Stuttar Sata Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaicharna Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Jayam Vishwapada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stuttar Sata Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय।
जय।
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय।
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रज में वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समावित भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter number 29, talks between Narad and King Prachin Bari, and text number 35.
Yes.
Yeah. Arthe hi avidyamane api samsrutihi na nivartate manasa lingarupena swapne vicharatah yatha अर्थे हि अविद्यमानेऽपि संस्कृतिर्न निवर्तते मनसालिङ्गरूपेण स्वप्ने विचरतो यथा अर्थे हि अविद्यमानेऽपि संस्कृतिर्न निवर्तते मनसालिङ्गरूपेण स्वप्ने विचरतो यथा अर्थे हि अविद्यमाने अपि संस्कृतिर्न निवर्तते मनसालिङ्गरूपेण स्वप्ने विचरतो यथा Chant.
अर्थे हि अविद्यमाने अपि संस्कृतिर्न
निवर्तते
मनसालिङ्गरूपेण स्वप्ने विचरतो यथा अर्थे हि अविद्यमाने अपि संस्कृतिर्न निवर्तते मनसालिङ्गरूपेण स्वप्ने विचरतो यथा
अर्थे factual cause he certainly avidyamane not existing api although samsrutihi material existence not nivartate ceases manasa by mind lingarupena by subtle form swapne in the dream vicharatah acting yatha is. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes we suffer because we see a tiger in a dream or a snake in the vision. But actually there is neither tiger nor snake. Thus we create some situation in subtle form and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream. Purport. As stated in the Vedas, the living entity is always separate from the two kinds of material bodies, subtle and gross. All our sufferings are due to these material bodies. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 14th verse. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha agama paino nityas tamstitikshva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They rise from the sense perception, O sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Lord Krishna thus informed Arjuna that all the distresses brought about by the body come and go. One has to learn how to tolerate them. Material existence is the cause of all our sufferings, for we do not suffer once we are out of this material condition. The Vedas therefore enjoin that one should factually understand that he is not the material but actually Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. This understanding cannot be fully realized unless one is engaged in Brahman activities, namely devotional service. To get free from the material condition, one has to take to Krishna consciousness. That is the only remedy. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshulmilitan Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. This is the beautiful verse. Yesterday in the evening we had touched upon the prelude to what is the necessity to acquire knowledge that dissipates our doubts. We are in a foreign country, right? And we try to adjust. But this adjustment was to be done there also in our original country. We come here thinking the situation is better here, but it is completely a misplaced experience, that there is no difference in this kind of material condition or that kind of material condition. That the body has to tolerate the inconveniences in either conditions, either states. So therefore our mind remains flickering. And here Krishna is saying that there are two kinds of living entities. One is in a gross form and another is in the subtle form. The subtle form is made by mind, intelligence and ego, and the gross is earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's it. In these two conditions, both are flickering situations. Whatever experiences through our senses, they are for the one that is keep on changing. All right? And in the night when one dreams, it's also a similar situation, but if you can tolerate the inconveniences caused by the mind, you have a bad dream, chasing a tiger after you, but you never say that you are ever defeated. You defeat the tiger. So rest assured, that kind of confirmation should be here also during the sleep. So if we want to really secure our knowledgeability in material life to guide our life in Krishna consciousness, then we have to become fearless. We have to become fearless. Fearlessness doesn't come with the weapons. It causes more fear. But there, the agama upayina anityam. Both the experiences in gross as well as subtle body experience, they are temporary. They are temporary. And we must know how to tolerate them. Krishna says, Matra sparshastu kaunte sitoshna sukha dukkhada agama apayina anityam tyamste sekshvantva. Because they are temporary. Anything that is earned for a temporary life is not a real achievement for human being. The highest consciousness can be developed when we gain something permanently. And these are the activities of devotional service only that can give you, permanent. Tasmad gurum prapatyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam. If you are jigyasu, and if you want a permanent benefit or long-term benefit, that is called shreya uttamam, then you must surrender and ask subsequent, with a humble attitude, the questions, that bothers you about this temporary experiences of both gross and subtle. Some people come and tell, Maharaj, I have this kind of dream. Oh, can you please tell me what is the meaning of it? People approach, but that is a foolish thing. Anityam, and you want to make a meaning which is anityam? Anityam doesn't have a permanent meaning. Only devotional service is nityam. And that is meaningful. So, these are whimsical situations created by the so-called ignorant people. Krishna is advising, come out from this damn ignorance. The soul is trapped in three gunas. And once you know that you are victim of the three gunas, then why don't you take some shelter that puts you above the three modes of material nature, rather than mitigate the miseries which are resultant reactions of the ignorance. So, it is very, very, very important to acquire the buddhi yoga. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam poyanti. This is the result of engagement of devotional service. Krishna says, I will give them sufficient intelligence by which they will be able to come. It doesn't require too much. Alright? While you are doing so much at the expense of taxpayers' money, thinking you are God and you want to find out so-called religious God, challenging it. But the methodology is completely erroneous. The material process is boomeranging and comes back to you. Because it's temporary, it is cheating, and it is a laughing stock. Right? So people, in the name of science, they misguide the people. I have been always citing this example of Sun Laboratory. They are envious, atheist. What is the destination of the envious and atheist? In the 17 chapters, urdhvam gachanti satsvatta madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittista adho gachanti tamasa. Not only they are baffled by material nature, they are, what to speak, spiritual nature is always, even though benevolent, it will laugh at such foolish scientists. Because their paradigm is completely different. They think spiritual is more subtle than mind, intellect. So they think they have to develop a powerful mind that subsides others' mind. So they think thinking process and experimenting all this come to a different conclusion which people do not know. So our mind is more superior. But it's a hallucination. With the four defects in the sense perception, that leads our life completely in ignorance. What is the gain? Anything achieved by the imperfect senses is also imperfect in nature. So what is the gain?
Nothing.
There is no gain. And yet they profess. One day we will find out that rascal God particle that has caused us. Okay, be our guest. It will be a laughing stock anyway. So, here Narad Muni is giving this example of the physical state's experience as well as subtle state in the mind, that you have a dream and tiger is chasing you, snake is there. It will make you afraid at that time. But the experience of the egoistic self is so big that you outnumber the tiger's attempt. You make a snake fool and escape. You never see yourself being beaten by a snake. You never see yourself being eaten away by the tiger. Because that is the nature of the soul which is immortal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavita vanabhuya. Ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So where is the question of splitting the atom and destroy the atom to dig out God particle? But people do by befooling others. These are the crown jewel in idiocy. That is material scientists, and they don't like our comments. They don't like our comments. Even doctors also do not like our comments. They say we are doing welfare. I said, welfare of whom? Which is temporary. And you also have temporary benefit. Whose welfare you have been doing? What is the permanent situation is, acquiring sufficient knowledge out of these experiences. That these are all temporary and fleeting. So it's better to tolerate. Anityam tam stitikshva bharata. So, one which is temporary, it will come to pass. It will come, but to pass. It's not going to stay with you. And people are becoming so much, aware that, some bad luck is there in my life. Somebody is doing some tantric with me, so I cannot progress even in devotional service. What was the value of your devotional service when you do not know how to do? You were banking and you say, I've been in ISKCON for a long time. But what is the opposition? You could not tolerate the inconveniences. You went out and you be on your own, then what is the position? You lost the essential association which will put you up into a state of ever existence rather than temporary hallucinating experiences, both by gross body and subtle mind. So, Prabhupada is making us understand that one has to learn how to tolerate these inconveniences of our experiences. Don't complain. Where are you? Don't complain. Okay? Material existence is the cause of all our sufferings, for we do not suffer once we are out of the material conditions. So how would you come out of material conditions? Simply kill? No. Subtle conditions are there, and it will be more horrible. The one who dies a very horrible death, the experiences are more horrible and they will be stuck into it. Probably in a revengeful mood or whatever it is. Envious nature. So, how one can remain happy if one is a butcher who is living in front of death? Na mara, na jiva. That the sadhu was giving, benedictions. So he has his assembly of disciples, and in the early morning, people will come and pay obeisances. The first one came the king of sun, and sadhu says, Chiranjiva, live for long. Life is short, but he is giving, the benediction for a king's son to live long. All right? Then Muniputra came, one who is austere right from the childhood and learning to tolerate the inconveniences because he is helping his father, who is an ascetic. So Muniputra, ma jiva, you die immediately. All right? Of course, he didn't die immediately, but just to give the example. Then the third one was a devotee. Oh, sadhu, jiva va maro va, according to your, whether you live or die, what is the difference? Yeah. And the fourth one was a butcher. He said, ma jiva ma mara iti, neither you live nor you die. You are in a ghostly condition anyway. You live before the death personified. If you are employed in a death department, where you see imminent death all the time, 24 hours a day, then do you live or do you die? No, you are in a horrible condition. So, the life of a butcher is very, very horrible. So, the student says, Guru, can you explain why did you give this benediction to a king's son? He is notorious, he is using every of his clout to for his own enjoyment, and you say you live long. Yes, I was having pity on him, the sadhu says. If I tell him, live long, then he will do lot of enjoyment which will be boomeranging to him, because he cannot tolerate even the happiness of, it is becoming monotonous. So he will be sick and tired, he will become mad, and he thinks the life's end is done and he will commit suicide because he will lose his freedom in enjoyment. If one is engaged in enjoyment, Bhogeshwari prasaktanam taya apratachetasam. Apratachetasam means his consciousness is stolen by overloading the sense gratification. So vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidiyate. His intelligence pertaining to the activities of the soul will never arise in his mind. So he is like a dead person. A real life is in vyavasayatmika buddhi engagement, and that is devotional service. Ekeh kurundana. No abhava. Not meditation, not impersonal thinking or yoga practices. No, that is not vyavasayatmika buddhi. Only one. Ekeh kurunandana bahushaka inantasya buddhayo abhyasa. Those who are saying, oh, this is also the duty of the soul. Marogori. They are liars. Ekeh kurunandana. So people are trying to sell this and they make it, the Atma should be healthy, so you do yoga. What does Atma supposed to be tolerate both happiness as well as miseries equally. Should not be deviated or enamored by overjoyfulness or so naturally if the king son is overloaded in sense gratification, he will be probably suffocated. Everybody will take over and he will be finished. More one does sense gratification, death comes closer faster. So, in this way we see that sadhu's benediction to Rajkumar was appropriate. And Muniputra Mahajiva, you know how to tolerate inconveniences right from your childhood. You are liberated. You don't have to do lifelong. So why don't you die immediately? Because in living condition you are tolerating all this, and in death also, where the subtle body will be, you will continue to tolerate. So you are in a liberated state. Those who are experiencing the tolerance, they come closer to liberation. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udarupastha vegam etana vegan yo vishahetatira sarvamapim prithvim shashishya. We have to tolerate the urge of speaking. Talk, 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 talk. That is, killing ourselves rather than killing our time. Oh, Prabhu, I need a company so I can talk to somebody. What the hell is that? I feel alone, I need somebody in my life, So, get hold of a wrong person and your life will be more destroyed. I don't know how many are hearing this class.
15 to 20 people.
Yeah, but I'm talking in terms of yesterday's, class and talk with private, because the subject matter is very, very important. Let's be having sufficient intelligence to tolerate the inconveniences. Prabhupada said, if your hand and foot are bound and you are entangled, don't think of dancing. Don't think of dancing. You will be more entangled. Better tolerate. So, this is a very important lesson with a very clear-cut understanding, and everybody has to, go through. Take an opportunity to tolerate. If something, instead of speaking out and intolerance, you will be more in trouble. Some people, they want to compete between sexes. I'm superior to you, I need to participate, I'm equal or this or that. Arre Baba, tolerate the inconvenience. You want to get artificial liberation? Women's lab is, lab is another one. A complete, situation which is a horrifying effect of getting exploited, by men. They don't want to tolerate the inconveniences. They are more in tune. So, for everybody to become happy is tolerance. They argue. Oh, if you're going to tell me only that I should tolerate, why should I come to you? Why should I come to you to get advice? I said, do you think I have some medicine that I will give you by charging you money? I know. But I want to, it means another blow to the mind. So many examples are there that they did not tolerate and they took action. I said, be my guest. If you want to follow those examples which I do not promote, then be my guest. Go and follow them. Why did you come here? Oh, I thought you have some jadoo. I said, Krishna's jadoo is superior than anybody else's jadoo. So, this is so much important, so much important. How much can you tolerate? Atrocities. So you want to make solidarity of your group to protest against these violations? Well, let's see. It will create more trouble, instability, risk of losing one's own national peace and prosperity. These situations have been created. The Muslims are intolerant, everybody knows that, and they're going to kill Hindus. Huh? It's a big political, at a huge scale, this operation is going on now. Muslims in India are also infuriated, and Indians are becoming more of a Hindus. Hey, watch out! This guy who is running the business under the name of Himalaya Medicines is a Muslim. And look what he's telling. We boycott Patanjali because he's a competitor. We boycott Ambani's and this and that. Biggest. We will feed all Hindus halal. Oh yeah, there's a huge uproar going on. Acting, counteracting, and if that could have been in Hindustan, why did you keep the Muslim there? But it is all treasure. Everybody is an agent of Kali. Gandhi is an agent of Kali. Jawaharlal Nehru is an agent of Kali. Congress, who ruled for 70 years, is an agent of Kali. So, like that. What can you say? But you have to go through. And general mass of people, they cannot take either sides. There will be suffrage from both the sides. So, these are the agents of Kali who are promoting a total unrest of mind. A Muslim mind works completely in a horrible way. When it comes to, Islam, it works completely horrible way. They have total intolerance of their senses. They have been grilled up in that kind of thing. They can't exist in the material world peacefully with anybody else. They want to convert the whole world into Islam. Anyway, so we have to understand Lord Shri Krishna, who is sitting in everyone's heart, including the Muslims and Christians, he is wandering. The living entity, just like riding on the wheel of the body and mind. Prakriti kriyamanani. These are the incitements of the Prakriti, and Prakriti will give troubles to the living entities who have come under her clutches. So those who are in mode of goodness, they will have some resilience. Those who are in mode of patience will bulk. They will say sense gratification is the most important thing in their life. And those who are in ignorance, they don't care for anybody, just whether sense gratifier and those who are in mode of goodness, kill them off. So that has been going on from the very beginning of creation. The Tamagun is fighting with Rajagun. The guna. The demigods and demons, they keep on fighting. Only Vishnu has to come and settle the situation. But here, Bhagavad Gita will settle the situation. What's the difference? So, everything that is temporary must be tolerated. There is nothing like permanent in the material world because itself is changing. So can't we think that what is not changing is the tenets of devotional service? So one must resort to perform devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they will cultivate all the 26 qualities of a devotee, and they will become perfect. Prabhupada thus said that we have a perfect process of teaching and implementing in one's life. I can make better Christians, Prabhupada says. I don't want them to give up what they believe. Their belief system has zero value, and Hindus also, their belief system has zero value, unless and until they all come on the singular platform of performing devotional services. You don't need heaps of knowledge. Knowledge will come in performance of bhakti because everything is embedded within bhakti. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajantam. So buddhi yogam will be there. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajata Janetyaso Jnanam Vairagyam Chata Hetukam. These are the byproducts of Jnana and Vairagya. Now, if somebody doesn't have tolerance, how is he going to develop Vairagya? People come to sadhus when these riots happen. Maharaj, what should we do? What should we do? Taking up. In Thailand, Vishwa Hindu Parishad desires that we should put up a show, of solidarity and right. So Rajvidya called me yesterday. Maharaj, we are invited. I said, few of you go. Not 200. But you go in karmi clothes. You are not representing ISKCON.
Yeah.
You follow? If you go on your own accord. But don't represent ISKCON. Because they are manipulators. If you follow Bhagavad Gita, you will not side with Vishwa Hindu Parishad at all. What to speak of BJP? The president of Rajamundri temple, he desired that he should join BJP because we can do a lot. And GBC wrote to him, why don't you give your resignation first and then join? And he resigned. To join BJP.
He thinks that is more important than doing devotional service.
They do not understand the value of a devotee. Because ISKCON in Bangladesh has been attacked, ISKCON must show. But they are doing it there. And government also, Indian government also gave the big threat to them. But this kind of silly engagement. And Vishwa Hindu Parishad is a materialistic movement. It's not a spiritual movement. Prabhupada would would not be interested. Let's see. I said, why don't you talk to other devotees, superior. I told her, I mean, this is the reason, are we going to be sold out to Vishwa Hindu Parishad? Oh, this is a big man, let's cultivate. And both of them, because they do in PR, they may be good, but we have to stand by on our own side. We can't be influenced by them. We can become a member, a so-called, but we do not have to go by their dictates. We have dictation of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was not interested, but Prabhupada kept relations, good relations with everybody. So as far as relations are concerned, keep. But don't be overwhelmed. It's good that he is asking me, So, just tolerate, remain Krishna conscious, don't give up your engagement into lesser activities. This is not devotional service. They were highlighting a destruction of the temple where Jagannath, Subhadra, Baldev were thrown out and this and that, just to incite the sentiments. Atheists also do the same, just to incite your sentiment. Then when we see in the life of Vrinda, who married to Jalandhar, completely opposite character. And she was using her devotional service to save her husband. So Vishnu has to come and cheat her. One cannot utilize the material piety, because material piety can save the life of a material body. That's about it. But as eternality, so in Tulsi Viva, we can understand that. We don't participate, but people are all enamored by playing Tulsi Viva. It's not spiritual understanding. Just like they play for Krishna Janmashtami. They make a child cry by patting Joe say, Hari Bol, Jai Kanhaiya Lal ki, Hathi Ghoda Pal ki, at 12 midnight. But in Srimad Bhagavatam we don't hear that. So, spirituality is different than religiosity, that is for sure. Narad Muni has no business to tell anything about ritualistic ceremonies that he was doing, like Karma Kand. No. Narad Muni wanted him to come out from there. That's why these instructions were important. That should be the nature. Anybody has any question? Welcome.
Any chats?
Yes, Guruji. You were talking about devotees getting involved in like non-devotional things. But I see a lot on YouTube, like leading devotees, like Gauranga Prabhu is saying, I visited this organization, putting his little photos on YouTube. But he's a senior devotee. Does he have a devotional purpose?
Look at that. A big conference of Vishwa Hindu Parishad, worldwide conference was conducted in the month of January in Thailand, Bangkok. And many of our devotees were invited. They attended. One of my colleagues from Ghana, president, is the zonal secretary there now, Srivas. And he was told to speak for a few minutes. He spoke. But the whole stage was taken over by Madhu Pandit. They say Gauranga and other stalwarts also went, but they did not speak anything. And how come Madhu Pandit was? Because he is a religionist, he is not a spiritualist.
Because he made friends with the right people.
Can you understand? The spiritualist is different than religionist.
Yes.
One, he wants to show up, all the external situations. He's a religionist. So naturally, Vishwa Hindu Parishad will, take his side, and they will say, hey, you guys are fighting for what? Yes, we are spiritualist and he is materialist.
Oh.
Very difficult to keep the balance between maintaining relationships and
Right.
going on their side.
Oh, which way
Prabhupada's simple instructions for Thailand is that don't install deities because they are Buddhist and
Yeah.
but it was solely for preaching locally. Prabhupada is 100% correct. But when Indians come, they want deities. And therefore Prabhupada said, deities are for neophytes. Deities are for neophytes. But deity worship is also to train. So, people are using in which context, we can tolerate absence of deities, but our preaching will be more essential because Theravada is against Krishna consciousness, the Buddhism mainstream. So Prabhupada had this strategy from the very beginning. How many Radha Krishna Murtis are there? And both the temples they have already. But temple is an essential part for devotees sadhana and training. So we are not going to make the temples that are two existing exactly like not. We are educators. We are educators.
Alright, there is one question.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. You said it is different from religiosity. Does religiosity mean following rituals?
Religiosity is depending on rituals only. That general people follow, the ritualistic people. But we are not ritualistic. A ritualistic cannot disseminate education about pure devotional service. He is more interested in so-called performance. And people do not understand why he is doing it. But they are enamored. They are enamored. Spirituality and religiosity both are different. They are spiritualists.
Religiosity is more of a ritual.
Yes.
But religiosity does not combine with a devotional service. No?
No, indirectly, but it is not intensified. Where we depend upon devotional service is the only means. Murti puja and Vigraha seva are two different things. Most of the Hindu temples are doing Murti puja.
Yes.
But we have to perform Vigraha seva, so we need an appropriate training for the Brahmin class who are very clean, understanding and exchanging
Centennial feelings.
the sentient feelings by offering everything on behalf of everybody, but at the same time retaining spiritual upliftment. So the way the Brahmin treats the deity, he has to treat the devotees. Because common factor is Supreme Person in the form of Paramatma. Paramatma is in the deities to accept our services.
Paramatma also they are devotees.
In other temples, no teachings. They say, you do according to your Shraddha. We have to say, Adav Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. We educate them, put them into practice, and their life will be successful. They don't have, they don't adhere to the teachings of Bhakti Yoga. So in their temple, impersonalists also come and tell these are nothing but patthar. Such people who don't have faith in the deity worship, they think knowledge is more important than this Ganti Bajao. They criticize right in front of the deity. We don't allow that. We don't allow any impersonalist, to give a lecture about Bhagavad Gita. I have first-hand experience in 1979. I was president of Chicago Temple, an ad hoc. I'm coming from New York, but they trapped me because there was some politics to drive one Indian president. He was from Canada, but he was serving in Chicago. So he has to put another Indian. Kaate se kaate kyo nikala. Remove a thorn with a thorn. He is also Indian. But I gave them ultimatum. If you think I have to fulfill the replacement, yeah, but the Indians, these Gujaratis, are so political. They have helped us to make the temple, but they want to influence. They want only Indian to be a president. So even though they wanted Kalki, my godbrother, he was a young American fellow, he was supposed to be the president, but he has to take. I was the ad hoc president. Then during October, that was for 1 month only. So during the October, the same time, Morarji Desai came to fight the Samuel Hertz, was a big publisher of the New York newspapers, and he claimed that Morarji Desai took bribe, and Morarji Desai was, I will file a lawsuit, defamation. So he was fighting. So he came there because Gujaratis, who donated for this temple, they say, oh, Morarji Bhai has, and he's also Krishna Bhakta, like that. I said, forget it. He will insult our deities because he's impersonalist. Yeah, but how can we? I said, be tricky, intelligent. Don't give him a dais. He would like to give a lecture standing up. Okay? And don't give him, don't make him sit on Vyasasana. It will be an insult. Moreover, he is going to tell that you have to meditate on the impersonal, not on this is Murti. But he doesn't know the difference between Murti Puja and Archa Vigraha Seva. So, even Christians, in 10 commandments, one of the commandments is, thou shalt not, worship a graven image. That they consider this to be a graven image, made up of marble or whatever it is. So, I warned them. And I said, I'm going to tell you right from the beginning that he's going to speak that the absolute truth is impersonal. What will you do to Kishore Kishori, beautiful deities, and everybody is attracted? They worship so nicely. I said, when I tell you, please close the curtain, at least. Because Americans do not understand all this sensitivity. So I told them. And Morarji came and everybody greeted. I was also there. Morarji Bhai Hare Krishna. Gujarati chho. Jacket utaron. He has to take out the jacket. And because he's Congress guy, so his attorney came from India along with him. It was Kapil Sibal, the notorious guy of today.
Oh,
Rascal number one.
That's also a good time. Oh.
So Kapil Sibal came there and they introduced this, and then they took him downstairs to give lecture. I said, Kalki, get ready. And he did speak something.
Okay.
He said, close the curtain! And I have to shout. And they did. Then they understood. We don't give such a platform in the temple. Prabhupada doesn't want them to invite. Somebody already giving class, so we cannot disturb. So give an excuse, right? If we would have known before, like that. But so this is the kind of social politics are there, trying to impress something on ISKCON. We should be very careful. So anyway, people say, no, experience is the best teacher. You know? I said, no. Who told you that? Shrunvatam svakatham. Listen and do that. That is the best teacher. Not experience. And ants can have experience to move, otherwise not. If you tell, please go and move out from here, even unless he is beaten up, then he will move. So, these are the situations that we face. Both are temporary. We have to tolerate because living a materialistic life is also hallucinatory, and having the dreams about the same is also hallucinatory. Real life of living is how do you live a very wakeful life? It's Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
This is more important.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Vancha kalpatarubhasya vipasindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavindavitya.
Vedavyasapriya Swami ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Atki Jai. Lord Premanande Hare Hare. God bless to the assembled devotee. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.